You're finally tackling your spring home improvement projects. Hello, 2024 Dream Garden. Until you realize you're short 3 bags of mulch. And why didn't you grab that pair of gloves you were looking at? Luckily, through Instacart, you don't have to stop mid-project to run to the Home Depot. You can get your missing gardening supplies, tools, and more delivered in as fast as 30 minutes. Have more time for your project and get the Home Depot delivered via Instacart. Visit instacart.com to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Additional terms apply.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. However you're watching, wherever you're watching, however you're listening, wherever you're listening. It is the Bet Online Salute Your Troy podcast, and it's 2/3 of the Bearded Bandits. I'm with my boy, Ryan Dairud. Ryan, how are you doing today?
What is up, my brother? It's I need to trim this thing though. It's getting a little once it starts like curling at the end, it's too much, and you can see my whites a lot more, my grays. But no, I'm doing great. It's been feels like it's been a while since we've been on here, so good to see you. And how you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I would like to say that I feel like my beard game is coming in pretty good. I need to trim it. I need to trim it, but it's coming in pretty good. So I'm excited about that.
Your beard has great like what's the word I'm looking for? Like it follows a good form. It's great form.
Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, not me, because I don't get anything on my sides. It's terrible.
I have a cousin who still has not grown facial hair yet, and he's in his 40s.
Like none. Well, it's not. Hate to tell him it's not coming if he hasn't had it yet.
He knows it's just not coming. Yeah, we recorded last Monday, put something out, and then we dove into the NFL draft. And congratulations to all those Trojans who were drafted.
Yeah.
I think
what was cool, I think, if I'm not mistaken, every single Trojan that was at the combine got drafted.
Nice.
So that's always, but congrats to all the Trojans.
I was on
Trojans.
I was on with the Decide guys. I did 2 days with the Decide guys.
Yes, you did.
With Amir and Big Take That. That's what I'm gonna start calling them now. Hot Take That, because there's guaranteed to be a hot take that's going to come out of Chad Decide's mouth. So I was on there with Amir and Hot Take That. We didn't record Monday. We're here now. We wanted to wait until the portal officially closed its doors, and it did close its doors. The thing about the portal is, I wish, before we jump into this, I wish the portal, you could be like, I want to enter the portal, and be like, no, never mind. I want to come back. I'm going to tell you why. Just because on the portal, you get to go on visits again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this is my coaching mind. You go in deep, you like go into your core players and tell them to hit the portal. It's a little risky and be like, yeah, take some visits to some schools we're playing. You know what I mean? And see what they're talking about, see if they show their defense, bring it all back, and then jump out of the portal.
Just sending out little birds, huh? Just eye birds.
And then the great thing about the draft, Nick Saban finally admitted on national TV that he's a cheater. I'm happy about that. Everybody thought I was talking reckless. He finally admitted it. So
share what he said, just for those that don't know.
He said that he wanted Quentin Jackson Williams.
I can't remember what the reference was. Was he talking the Jets player?
The corner that got drafted. His name was Quentin Williams or whatever.
Okay.
He said that he
out of the small school. Gotcha.
Out of Toledo, yeah. He said that he kept contacting him, and I'm paraphrasing. I'm not saying it word for word, but he kept contacting him, asking him to get in the portal so they could get him to come to his school, and he never went into the portal. Just to let you know, Mr. Saban, that is tampering, and that is an NCAA violation. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, the portal is closed. closing the portal, we signed another receiver. The receiver room is loaded right now. His name is, help me, Ryan, Jay Hayes?
Jay Fair, sorry. Jay Fair out of Auburn.
Jay Fair out of Auburn. So that's 2 receivers that we got out of the portal. We'll address that real quick.
Yeah, because we didn't record since Kyle Ford came home,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. He's back.
Welcome
at SC.
back. Well, I don't blame him. Get a free master's, man. Get a free master's from SC.
Yeah.
I don't blame him at all. And he's already adapted. So on my drive home today, I was thinking about this, and there's a lot of skill players being picked up in the portal right now. And there's 3 phases to the game: offense, defense, and special teams, right? And you have to win all 3 phases to win games. We could all go out on a limb and say that the defense was bad last year. We've heard that, and how many times have you told us, let's not harp on the defense today. Let's try not to. But the special teams last year was awful for USC. It was not great. And I think that was due to a lack of depth. And this is just me speculating. This is just me thinking as a coach, and me thinking as if I was coaching, if I was in this position. How do you make your special teams player? How do you make your special teams play better? You go get skilled players that are good, or at least decent. You know what I mean? So now you have a ton of depth. So these guys may make the plane. They may not get reps on offense or defense, but they'll get a ton of special teams reps. Special teams just got better through the portal. And this is just me just thinking. And if that is the case, and if that is what Lincoln Riley did, my hat's off to him. And that is an excellent strategy to conquer your special teams through the portal by gaining depth. Not only that, he did gain depth in the depth chart at these skilled positions, because how many times has a guy gone down last year and it was just like, oh man, we're in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, it was like number 1 gets hurt, there's nobody else behind him. Now, number 1 gets hurt, well, number 2 is just as good as number 1. And that's how you build championship teams. So those are my thoughts on so far what we've done in the portal, and I think that's what he's thinking. That's what I think the Jay Fair's pickup was. That's what I think the Greedy Williams pickup was. The Kyle Ford pickup, all the pickups on special teams. I think that's what that was. I do think that they are recruiting hard on defensive line and offensive line. They just haven't pulled the trigger yet, and they have time to pull the trigger. So those are my thoughts. What do you think on USC's portal action or free agency moves, however you want to put it?
Yeah. Well, just specifically on, we'll start with receiver. A couple quick thoughts on that. You know, I think Kyle Ford, is a great addition back because he played 1 year in Lincoln Riley's system. He was here for a year, had some big moments. Wasn't the leader, I guess, when you look at it, was, different receivers that led the team, but had some big moments, and then goes to UCLA for a year and then comes back. So I think he just brings some familiarity. He knows the guys in the room for the most part. Obviously, some of the freshmen he didn't know because he wasn't here last year, but some of the other guys and within the team knows Miller Moss, obviously, getting reps with him in practice. So it's a nice familiar face, adds depth. He's a big body. I mean, he's probably
6'2",
the biggest,
212.
Yeah, he's probably the biggest. I mean, obviously Jacoby Lane's taller and Deuce Robinson is taller, but he is the biggest, stoutest body probably in the room. So it gives you something that they don't really have, which gets me to the next receiver in Jay Fair, which just an absolute burner. I mean, the dude, what is he, like 5'8", 5'10", 180? I mean, he's just a speed guy. And so I totally agree with you about the special teams depth. I mean, right now their special teams is Zachariah Branch, and that is it. I know Mekhi Lemon is kind of the second guy, but I think Jay Fair gives you some versatility in the special teams and the return game. Obviously, you need more in the actual other positions on special teams, but at least it gives you that in return. But also just gives you a true speed weapon on the outside if that's something they feel they need. He's not going to be, he's not your top 5 receiver on this roster, maybe not even top 6, but hey, if he gets a couple reps a game, just being that burner guy that either spreads things out for your underneath game, or he's able to be that home run hitter every now and then. I think that's a great addition. And then the last thing this kind of tells me, and things can still change. They won't change obviously this year. Now the portal's closed, but with all the talk of NIL, which we're going to talk a lot about next week, we have a great guest coming on next week that we're going to dive into USC's NIL that has a great
That's confirmed. You confirmed
inside
it?
look. Yeah. Well, we're not doing it over the weekend because it's Derby weekend. So next week we'll have him on.
Oh, I didn't know if you confirmed it. So Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that'll be great. So he's going to come on. He's involved with NIL. So anyway, aside from that all being growing and good, when you start adding a lot of players to positions, specifically we saw Greedy Vance go to a deep defensive back room. I mean, one guy, Fagans, leaves, he comes in. It's still deep. Receiver, very, very deep. You had 2 guys in the final kind of portal week. To me, it shows that this group that is here right now is bought in on being a USC Trojan and playing for Lincoln Riley. Now, things can change. I mean, this isn't set in stone. Again, it isn't right now because the portal's closed, but you know how next year goes when the portal opens at the end of the season. But when you guys see these guys coming in and there was still time for guys to jump, like, maybe wide receiver 7 or 8 are like, oh man, they just brought in 2 more receivers. I'm going to hit the portal now. No one did. So it tells me that this group right here is very proud to be a Trojan, wants to be a Trojan and play in this Lincoln Riley system. And, that's got to at least be exciting, I think, for the fan base.
So my question is, our guest for next week, did he go to the dinner the other night or you didn't ask him?
I didn't ask that, so we will ask.
Yeah, touching on that because real quick for the sake of time, Jen Cohen is also I guess backing up what she said and how she was when she first got hired. That dinner the other night, just seeing those pictures, that was a huge event.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge event. Everybody was there. Like, that was big. And
yeah,
I mean, it's going to get to a point, and I wish Jamal was here because he can't defend himself, but I don't think, after seeing that, I don't think NIL is going to be an issue for SC. I think they're going to I think now that they have the athletes bought in, and once you get athletes bought in, like Ronnie Lott and all those people,
yeah,
you're going to get donors to buy in. Well, if Ronnie's doing it, I'm a big Ronnie Lott fan. I'm going to do it. You get the following. And like I said, everybody was at that dinner, and that was huge. That was huge. I was impressed. So,
yeah. That, we'll talk more about it next week, but
yeah, I'm just touching on it now. I just wanted to mention that dinner because that dinner I was just looking at the pictures. I was impressed.
No, it was great. I mean, it's a great sign to see it, and everyone's buying in and just seeing the growth of where it was a year ago. So, but and this, again, last thing I'll say, and then we'll get back to the portal, but the thing now with NIL, because now it seems like SC has the backing, they have the money. Now you got to be strategic in how you use it, because what we've seen a lot, not from SC particularly, just in general, is money gets thrown around. Some kid comes in, gets paid, and then still hits the portal after a year. I mean, Dante Moore did that just across town at UCLA. Yeah. We've seen guys do it at Ohio State, Texas A&M, Colorado,
Florida.
And so the key is Florida, all over. The key is you have the money now, but it still is very important that you're recruiting the right kids that want to be USC Trojans. Now you can offer them and actually back it up, but you don't want to just offer anybody. And so I know there's a lot of big names that have been out there, and it's like, well, man, why didn't USC get them? Why are they going to Oregon, Ohio State? And, I don't know all the inner workings of it, but there could be some instead of like, well, we didn't want to just throw the bag at this kid because he didn't seem like he really wanted to be here. He was just chasing the money. And if he doesn't want to be here, what's going to stop him from taking our money and then leaving in a year anyway? And then we're out of all that money. Like, this is an investment. We want to invest in the right kids. They're going to be with this program for the long haul. And obviously we need the money to do that, but also we need the right kids. So, I mean, that's just another little wrinkle of this fun 2024 college football.
Yeah. And that's the difference between the NFL and college. Yeah. And that's why they should have never knee-jerked it, because in the NFL, you sign that money, you're stuck there. You're there, you know what I mean? And so that's one of the things you got to get. So let's roll into needs. We know there's needs up front. There's still some available names out there. You want to start offensive line or defensive line first?
Let's go defensive line. That's what everyone, I think, wants to talk about. And
all right.
Yeah. So we'll just let me just say real quick, and then you jump into it. But I just by the time people watch this on Friday, they should already know. But as of 30 minutes before recording, kid at TCU, Dominic, committed to Oklahoma. So he's on an option for SC. So if anyone's wondering why we don't bring him up because he was a tie-in, he is committed to Oklahoma. So go ahead.
Yeah. And It'll be, it'd be funny if he got in the portal next year and came to SC.
Yeah.
Our Sooner
I know.
fans will hate that.
I know.
No, so we need D linemen up front, and there's some D linemen that are available out there. Derrick Harmon is the big name out there out of Michigan State. He's a 4-star transfer portal recruit. It's crazy how they even rank in transfer portal recruits now. This thing it's just this crazy. 4-star transfer portal recruit. He's from Michigan State. Big Ten guy. Has not made a decision yet. He has put SC on his top list from what I saw all over the social webs.
Yep.
6'5", 320, right? And I like 6'5", 320 a lot. I like Big Ten a lot. I like the fact that you could put him at the 1 and you could move Bear down to 3, and Bear becomes a lot more vicious at a 3 technique because you could just let him go. And I would love to talk to our guest next week about that and see what he thinks about it and what he thinks about the front if we could squeeze that in. But I think this would be a great get, and this adds to the depth factor that we've been talking about. We need the depth factor. My only issue is, and it's going to always be my issue, and the question that I always ask, is he in it to come and help us win, or is he in it chasing the bag, right? Because this is a big money pursuit, and like you said, you don't want to invest in him, and then all of a sudden he hits the portal again, right? So that's my only worry to me, and I guess I'm a little conservative on this with the whole portal thing because I want to hold my dollars close to my chest.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only red flag, but that's the biggest red flag that I will have. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, so that's my biggest worry. So that's how I feel about it. Derrick Harmon, how do you feel? What do you think we should do?
Yeah, I mean, the player, it'd be a home run get because everything you mentioned, the way he could play with Bear, the experience he has, he's played in the Big Ten. USC's in the Big Ten, so he knows, Big Ten style of play, obviously. But yeah, I agree. I mean, as of Wednesday, On3 was reporting that USC and Colorado were the front runners. And then as of Thursday, basically said still USC and Colorado, but Oregon and Ohio State are also in the mix. And so if I'm just being no sources on this, I feel like he's probably not going to go to SC because to me, it sounds like what you were saying. This is going to be a bidding war. And I don't know if SC is going to get into a bidding war with this. They could, but from everything we just said, finding the right player, not getting a guy that's going to just hit it again if things don't work out or if the money is not right. So the player and the skill set is a home run. But if it's a bidding war between Ohio State, Oregon, Colorado, like I don't know if it's going to, not because SC can't, I just don't know if they would even want to go down that road.
I'm good with a bidding war, but I'm good with a bidding war with a limit set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so let's say like, here's our top out. We're only going here. If he goes above that, we need to move on.
Yeah. Well, that's not a bidding war, right? You just say, hey, we'll give you $850, take it or leave it. We're SC.
The art of negotiation, Ryan. You gotta, come in low and hopefully it doesn't get to your number. But definitely, another guy that's big out there, CJ West out of Kent State, 6'2", 315, moves very well for his size. Smaller school guy. He is a 3-star guy. I prefer. I'm gonna get killed over this. I prefer CJ West over Derrick Harmon.
Okay.
I feel like you could bring CJ West in and make him a Trojan, and he will be about being a Trojan. I think CJ West more wants to be at a big school than want a big check.
Yeah,
my opinion. That's what I think. You get a CJ West, you build that depth factor. Bear stays at the 1. You maybe put him at 3, or he might not even start because of size. I don't know his arm length and all that stuff, but he creates a depth factor. But the fact that he's at SC and he gets to play in a Power 5, and the fact that he gets to get a chance to go to the college football playoff, and the fact that he gets a chance to be coached by an NFL coach, the fact that he gets a chance to be seen by the Rams and the Chargers, which are in his backyard, like a whole bunch of things are stacked on him. Well, he has the Bengals and the Chiefs, I can't say because he's in Ohio, but a little bit better. But those type of things make him better. So what do you think about CJ West?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, kind of like a Jamil Muhammad type feel, right? Going from a smaller school to come and get the exposure and obviously the size you mentioned, 6'2", 315. if we're talking money, it probably would cost a little less. But yeah, I mean, who knows what Coach Henne could do with this guy? He fits certainly that size type that we've talked about that Coach Henne likes when you look at what he's done with the Rams with, we've talked about a bunch, but Sebastian Joseph Day or Greg Gaines or that big bodied kind of not necessarily super tall, maybe even a little shorter, but just robust 300-pound body there at the nose that can play next to Bears. So I love CJ West. I think when he first entered back in mid-April, that was all of me, you, and Jamal's maybe kind of top choice just because of that small school coming to a big school factor, wanting to be a USC Trojan, like having that feeling of like, wow, I am totally upgrading from where I'm at to go to a premier institution that I'm going to get a degree at, plus it's going to springboard me to the NFL, as opposed to a guy that's already and I'm not on Harmon just in general, a guy that's at a premier place that just is chasing money to go elsewhere for a new opportunity. So I love CJ West, and we'll snake it. I'll throw one more name at you that I've heard a little bit of buzz, another small school guy. I mean, maybe we love small school guys, but Grand Valley State, Xavier Suggs, little smaller, 6'3", 285. So doesn't hit that 300-pound mark. Now, if he gets in Coach Wiley's system, maybe we can get those pounds on over the summer. But seems to be a little buzz about his name as well. And, another small school that I think you just talk about the opportunity of going from small school to SC, and fans may not like that. They may say, we're SC. We should be getting all the big name guys. But sometimes you need that small school mentality that's just that. I mean, it's dog work, right? That's what SC is now.
Yeah, that grind. And he's coming from a D2, and D2 you have to grind. I recruited D2 players, and it's not full scholarship, and you have to find a way to eat. So I'm with that. Like, he'll be happy about the point of being there. The bag is way smaller. You get to do a lot of things to make it work. He could be like the guy we're going to talk to next Tuesday, right? Come from a smaller school, end up at a bigger school. He could end up being something great. Comes from the Midwest, so he's used to all that weather and all the stuff everybody complains about. So I definitely like it, and I think it'll work. So I think the D-line has a lot of prospects out there, and that can make us better and build the depth. I want to let everybody know and thank everybody listening to us on the Mightier 1090. This has been the Salute Troy, the Bet Online Salute Troy podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Live free, fight on. Let's continue rolling here. We're off the radio, so if you need to cuss, Ryan, go ahead and cuss.
Finally.
You want to move over to offensive line?
Let me one more name to throw at you.
Okay, go ahead.
Big school. It entered fairly recently, the last bit of the portal. Johnny Bowen's the third out of Oregon. Like, it would be great to get a kid from Oregon. I'm sure your brother would love that. 6'3", 290. But, coming from Oregon, like, what do you think the prospects of that? Stealing from within, I mean, obviously they've always been in our conference, but stealing from their pipeline, since they like to steal from us, it feels like.
So 6'3", 290 tells me defensive end. Yeah. Screams defense, like the defensive end that the Rams just got, that the defensive end that the Rams just drafted. And we're talking about how he's not a pass rusher, but he's a true defensive end. Front side defensive end, set the edge, give opportunities to other players, doesn't let anybody around the corner. You get that guy, and we talked about it in the spring game. All last year, I always said there's no edge to the defense. Now there's an edge on the defense, right? And so this creates an edge on the defense. So he's able to do it. That'll be even better, right? And I know I sound like a red record, but the key thing here is depth. So even if these guys don't start, they'll play. Off defensive line plays on rotation, right? So that's excellent. Only problem is Oregon is in the NIL game. You know what I mean? They're in Phil Knight's pocket in the NIL game. My question to you is, and I don't know if you still have his information up, is he a Southern California kid? If he's a Southern California kid, there's the advantage because now he gets to come back home and play.
He's from Texas. Just looked.
Okay, so that doesn't matter, right? I guess we could go to the weather. We could go to the beaches are better, right? So,
hey, SC's been taking a lot of kids out of Texas recently.
They have been taking a lot of kids out of Texas, so that type of things work. But yeah, screams defensive end. We could use another defensive end. I'm not against it. And I'm like you. I'm not going into a bidding war for it. Here's what we have to offer you. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I got nothing else to add. So it feels like, West or Harmon or Suggs really need to be like the three, one of those three guys, because they really do need that nose tackle with Rakes leaving. So I don't think Rakes was like a a huge loss in terms of like what production he's done as a collegiate player. Obviously, how bad he wanted to be a Trojan, but the size will be missed because we do need that big interior nose that, obviously is not there with him gone.
Yeah, and then when you leave a school like SC and you go to Auburn, it just shows that it was all about the money, right? It's not like Auburn is a blue chip school, right? You left a blue chip to go to a middle of the pack SEC school.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it is what it is. Nothing against the kid. It's just, the decisions you make. Let's roll over to offensive line. So
I saw, sorry, real quick. I think it was our buddy Fight on Rusty that posted. I can't remember who, someone on Twitter, but the caption was Isaiah Rake's USC highlight film. And it was just his video from when his visit, when he was just like with no shirt on in the Coliseum.
That was Fight on Rusty. That was
I was dying laughing. I was like, oh, that's great.
Fight on Rusty's been coming with the shots lately. He said, UCLA, their night game. He was like, at least they're finally realizing that they're a high school program.
Yeah,
I was like, Fight on Rusty's all one. He's coming with the shots. Offensive line, kid entered the portal 2 days ago, and it's like he snuck in. Nobody's talking about him. He's 6'4", 310. Enoch Viheim out of Ohio State, 4-star portal recruit.
Yeah.
This is big time. This is the tackle we need. Coming out of a blue chip in the Big Ten.
From Hawaii.
He's from Hawaii.
Yeah.
So it puts him closer to home. I doubt he will want to go back to Hawaii. But there's certain things, right? If it's playing time, he has a chance to compete for it. He has a chance to compete for it. This is the only thing, and this is something I was thinking about today, too, on my drive home. I think Lincoln Riley has a lot of faith in these young guys. I think he's like, these are the guys I'm going to ride with. I really don't need to build up my offensive line. Not too convinced with the center. You know how I feel about the center. But the other four, the young guys that he wants to grow with, I think he's all in on those guys, and I think he's trying to show those guys, like, look, this is your time. Go ahead and do it. Like, go ahead and write this out and compete for it. Bringing this guy in, I think, solidifies the line a little bit and puts a little bit more veteran in him, and it gives you that Big Ten experience. So I don't know what year he is in school. It doesn't say what.
I think he'd only have 1 year of eligibility, I think.
Experience 2019, 2024. Yeah, so he'll be a grad highlight. I mean, I said a grad highlight. I was reading Watch Highlights. He'll be a grad transfer, which is good because even if he doesn't really play, at least he gives that veteran leadership. And like, you have to think like pros now. Like, you need some veteran leadership in your locker room. Go find a guy in a portal to do it. So this guy sliding in sounds great. The only thing about grad transfers is, and a lot of people don't know this, and you see this a lot, and it happened with Raylan Growforth. A lot of coaches tell players on their grad year to go get in the portal because grad scholarship is more expensive than undergrad scholarship.
Yep.
So
good point.
So they're like, hey, like, go get in the portal. Unless he's a dude, right? Generational talent to try to keep him, but like a guy that's like above average, right? Raylan Growforth didn't even get drafted this year. Like, go get in the portal, go get your grad year, have somebody else pay for it. It's the business aspect. I know it sounds bad, but it's just being on the other side of the desk, you learn a lot of things, and it is what it is. So that's how I feel. How do you feel about Enoch?
Yeah, I mean, I still believe I think we talked about it a few episodes ago. Like, I still think at this point, whether fans like it or not, I think the 5 we saw at spring game, that's the starting 5 Lincoln Riley and the coaching staff want to roll with. And so they need to add, and I think they will absolutely add another lineman, but it'll be for depth and for rotational purposes or injury, God forbid. And so a guy like Enoch, I think, is tremendous depth. I mean, obviously with the experience and being from a big Power 5 school at Ohio State and playing in the Big Ten and having that kind of bully ball mentality from what they had to do all those years and playing Michigan and whatnot. So, I think it'd be great. I think no matter who they get, is seen as a depth piece, not as a guy that's going to come in and start. Just my opinion. Could be wrong, but it does seem, and you kind of alluded to it, based on what Lincoln Riley has said, based on just all spring practices, they feel really good about this group of 5 starting right now, with even some depth behind it, but obviously some youth. So they need to add, absolutely, but yeah, I think they're just adding more for depth purposes.
And I would too. Just to be honest with you, like I wouldn't mess that room up too much because you're building a core, and he's building a core with the offensive line, right? Yeah. You got 2 classes now that are your guys that you recruited, and they're good. You know what I mean? It's not like they missed on these guys. Like these guys are good.
Paige and Noah, who are true sophomores, are legit.
Yeah.
And then you got Pregnon, who started last year as a transfer, so he's year 2. You know, we'll see about Monheim, but they seem real bullish that he's made that switch to center grade. So we'll see. I mean, to me, it was a genius move because obviously, you know, they talked to him and said, you're not going to get drafted as a tackle. So you need experience in the interior because you're only going to get drafted as a guard or center. So for him, it was better anyway. And he's now going to be a nice big center. And then obviously Murphy at right tackle, who played there last year. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And then you got what they brought in. They're bringing in 4 this year, right?
Yeah, well, it would have been 5, but then Zamandela just transferred out. So 4 new freshmen this year. They're excited about some big kids. And then you also got Quijones, who got hurt last year, who was starting before he got hurt. So he'll be back, that they like a lot as well. So I think the offensive line is in better spot than maybe people think. I'm not saying I'm sitting here thinking it's a top unit in the Big Ten. We'll see, but I think there's some things to be excited about at least.
I think now that we're talking about it, I don't think they need to go get anyone. I think they could go get someone because they're bringing in 4 and they already have 3 committed for 25. You know what I mean? So like, why? You know, I think they're sold up there. Maybe go get a center next year. You know what I mean? That's something you put on your future and start watching out for centers. But I don't think there's worth anybody going to get. I would not. I don't think this offensive line is complacent. Put it like that. I think this offensive line is a little bit different, a little bit nastier, a little bit grittier, and they'll figure it out. And with their O-line coach, who's supposed to be good, like I think they're set. I don't think they should go get anybody in the portal. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, one name just to throw out that I haven't heard that they're like looking at, but is intriguing, is Colton Thomason.
From A&M?
From A&M. Yeah, 4-star. He's a sophomore. 6'8", 325. So, I mean, why not at least like, you know, throw a dart at that? Like that's good size. He's young. You can build with him and he can join this. Basically, you think, okay, we lost one of our 24 recruits. This is essentially just take his place in a way. Obviously, different position. He's slotted as a tackle, not interior. But that's a name I would at least like, you know, look at.
No, I agree. Hey, here's $100,000. Take it or leave it. If not, we just keep moving forward. You know what I mean? So
isn't that crazy now to say that? Like just as a dart throw, here's $100,000. Do you want it or no?
I am so jealous, Ryan. I am so jealous. Do you know how low my price tag would be?
What do you think you would have gotten offered back in the day? Because you were coming out of Poly. I mean, you were a hot prospect coming out of Poly.
Come out of Poly because they also flipped me too. So coming out and for them to flip me, in today's world or back then?
Today's world, yeah, today's world.
Today's world would have probably been about $250.
Yeah, because you were starting at Poly. You flipped from where'd you flip from again?
Oregon State.
Orange State flipped you. Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Oh, look at that, $250 as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Family eat.
Here's the thing. So I was a tweener. I was between in today's game. I'll be the guy. I was only 185 pounds playing linebacker. So it was like, is he a linebacker or is he a safety? And they couldn't figure it out. Oregon State was like, look, you're a linebacker with us. We want you to come play Will. They're the only one knew what position I wanted to play. So I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's go do it. I was going to graduate early. SC came in the back door late. Look, we want you to play safety, but you want to play for SC? Shit, hell yeah. So,
Yeah.
but in today's world, it'd be like, what's the price tag? You know what I mean? How much you guys offering? I'm not going to flip for free. So back then, it would have probably been around 75.
Yeah. And see, and I think you said a great thing there. Like, that's what I don't want to say people don't understand, but maybe people don't put enough weight in, is that college football today is not what it used to be. Back then, SC could say, do you want to play football at SC? And everyone would be, hell yeah, I want to play at SC. Now it's, yeah, but what are you offering me? Like, it's just different now. So I know people get frustrated, but it's just different. SC, as great as they are and great as they always will be, it's just not what it used to be. And not because, obviously, they've had some down years, but I don't even think it's because of that. It's just because that's the way kids are nowadays. That's the way college football is. You can't just say, like, yeah, I agree that you have to be, like, SC has to carry weight in their name, but it's not how it used to be, where it was only the name. Like, that was it. Like, do you want to play here? Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know how it is now, and I can't speak for now, but then it was just like, it still had the pageantry to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kids are a little different nowadays. They don't care about being on the same field as Ronnie Lott and Troy Polamalu and Dennis Smith and Reggie Bush. All that really doesn't, they don't really care about that now. For me, it was that, like, I'm on this field, I'm in grades. Like, there's still people today who, like, know who I am. I was like, I didn't even play. Like, it happened with me and my wife one time. They were like, you played at SC, blah, 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 and the whole thing. She's like, you're kind of a big deal. I was like, I didn't even play. Like, I ran down on kickoff. Like, I wasn't even that guy. Like, but it's just, that's what did it. But now the game, you're right, the game has switched up so much. Like,
and
my boss, go ahead.
No, sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
My boss' kid is getting recruited. And I asked him the question. I said, what is the price of your son? And he was like, we haven't even thought about that yet. I was like, he needs a price. Like, he needs a price, because kids talk and people know how much these kids make. He needs a price. You guys need to sit down and talk about what the price is. And set that price. And he was like, yeah, you're right. Like, we need to talk about that, because he's going to get upset because the kid he's better than is making thousands of dollars more than him. And he's like, nah. And then into the portal and things like that. So, like, it's sad to say that kids have a price.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy. Yeah. And there are definitely still kids out there that they care about where they play, who's coaching them. So I don't want to make it sound like every kid's like that. I mean, I know you missed it, unfortunately, because of work, but did you hear that bit from Brendan Rice when he was on our show, him talking about that?
Yeah.
How he was, Brendan Rice offered, he said a couple $1 million offers, and he took 0 to come to SC because he wanted to play for Lincoln Riley and Coach Simmons, the receiver coach. So, I mean, there still are kids like that. Now, he's a little different situation, having a Hall of Fame dad and all that. Yeah. But he knew SC, how much SC meant, the school meant, how much the coaching would help him get to the next level. And so there's still kids like that. You still have to have that. But money talks now.
I think up front, and we'll end it on this. I think up front, kids do appreciate the offer, and they start to figure out where they're going to go. But I think it's like, all right, I'm going here. And then it turns into, well, we'll give you this to come here. And then it's like, well, they're offering me this. That's when I think the bidding war starts. I think the initial scholarship offer doesn't have a price tag to it. But I think when the recruiting competition starts now, recruiting is so easy now. You don't have to convince kids anymore. You just have to give them a check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so not all, and like you said, not all kids, but some kids. So yeah, definitely.
Well, it's both now, right? So, like, for instance, Julian Lewis. We'll call him Julian. There's only one Juju, as you say, which is fair. Juju Watkins is the Juju of SC. So Julian Lewis, 2025 5-star quarterback coming. He is going to get paid. Like, SC, to keep him, is going to have to pony up. But at this point, from stuff I've heard, but then also he's publicly said it, like, the reason why he is still committed to SC is because of Lincoln Riley. Like, because Georgia's offered more, Texas has offered more. SC's still going to have to keep, appeasing to him and offering. But the reason why he is still at SC is because of Lincoln Riley, because he knows, I mean, speaks for himself, right? 3 number 1 overall picks in a matter of 6 years. I mean, that.
Yeah.
Come on, that's worth more than an extra $300K to go to another school, I think.
And
so.
That's like the receiver that went to Oregon. He got offered less from Oregon. It was just the roster. He said the roster at Oregon fit, so I just decided to go to Oregon. So yeah, definitely. Ryan, it's been fun.
Yes, sir.
We're in and we're out. Can't wait for Tuesday. That's going to be a good one. I'm excited to I should see where Kenny's going to be because him and Kenny played together.
That's right. In
So
the NFL.
I should see where Kenny's going to be on that one. But definitely, it's been fun, Ryan. I enjoyed it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, fans, for watching. We're here like normal. It's the Bet Online Salute to Detroit podcast. You guys know how it goes. Live free. Fight on.